I'm just talking about the 1,040 hours. You go over that?
No, I know that.
Okay, no, but I'm looking May, June, July, August, September, October, okay?
6 months.
Make sure we...
You'd have to, right, you'd have to end it.
Well, I just want to make another point. If somebody
Yes.
gets hired May 15th, it'll go to October 15th.
Not talking, well, no, we're not agreeing with that.
Not if exceeds 120.
That's what I was saying.
No,
I just took 2 weeks away, because we have...
Well, no, we're saying here, I mean, you're gonna be using these people during the summer months for summer kind of labor jobs, correct?
Yeah.
But
Which
not
should-
more than 40 hours a week.
No.
See? So if you do it by 6 months.
But is it 1,040 or is it 1,020?
1,040. 1,040.
Well, I'm not good at math, if you were working for 26 weeks at 40 hours a week, it comes to 1,040, so.
Right.
That's my own question, but I just want to make sure.
No, but we would have to, you're right.
We just have to monitor very carefully,
Yeah.
because you go over 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
we're in trouble. Okay, very good. Any other questions or comments?
You want a motion?
Yes.
I would assume Lou would.
No, what I was trying to say to you, Doug,
Yeah.
is that we have to put the ad in the paper.
Yeah.
We want to get some qualified people to come in.
Right.
All right? And if one starts May 1st and the other one starts a week later, we just know that we have 6 months from that time, and it's still 1,040 hours. So,
Right.
because we might not get a quick response. You still have to check these people out. It might be the second week of May. I just want to give
Right,
you flexibility that we go to October 15th, and it's still 6 months.
Let me ask a question in that regard, though. Okay. Seasonal work, are you gonna have work after October 1st?
Yeah.
Or, through the end of October?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still doing paving at that time.
November 1st?
Huh?
November 1st? Okay.
Yeah, you need to cover it, because we're still doing pavers, we're still doing everything we do in the summer.
Well, then maybe when we make the motion, we ought to say for 6 months, starting
We don't know if they're gonna start.
in May.
I put May through October because I figured it would be sometime in May. I kind of left it vague, so.
Okay.
Not to exceed
Did you want to say not to-
1,040 hours.
That's what I
Whatever it
said.
is.
Per labor.
Yeah, do it, not to
That's what
exceed
covers it.
1,040 hours,
Right.
we're good.
All right, who would like to make the motion?
So I'll make the motion.
All right,
Second?
that was easy. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Only reason why I'm sensitive about this, because I work for a company, the auditors came in and found somebody to work 20, 30, 40 hours more, and they became full-time employees.
That's right.
They became full-time
The
employees.
state is also very strict about it.
So,
What's the name of that company you work for?
DuPont. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, we have to be very careful. Okay.
You have this much fun anywhere else.
No,
Yes.
it's better than TV.
The oil, we made the motion, I guess, at 1425?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, very good. Okay. All righty, thank you.
He's got it, man.
Was that easy?
That was easy. You need more? You gonna stay there?
Well, this next one.
Yes,
While I was here, I just wanted, we wanted to briefly discuss the transfer of the truck to the joint rec. Just from the standpoint of what needs to be done as far as taking a piece of equipment and transferring it over. And there may be a piece of equipment that they have that they may transfer over to us.
That might be a problem,
Correct.
because that's owned by the village and the town.
Yeah, it's also, the town is giving something to the village. Yeah.
Well, we've given trucks to them before.
Yep.
But they never had any coming in our direction before.
Well, think about that.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
If the town wants to give the village and joint rec or whatever piece of equipment, you can't do that?
You can do it, but you have to do it in a certain manner.
Well, no, that's what he's asking. He's asking, how do we go about this?
Yeah.
But on the other side...
I think George should get a backhoe.
What I don't understand is why the village, run that by me again, we've done this in the past, the village has never done it.
No. What's happening, the thing we've never done is, Broderick's excess piece of equipment has a little bit of life in it.
Right.
Okay? He's worked out a deal with the Joint Recreation Commission that they can use that truck.
Right.
They in turn, they have a lawnmower over there that they have accessed, and they'd like to give it to us because it's got life in it still. We would like to have it.
That's the village and the town who's got to access it.
Right.
That's what I'm,
Okay.
that's the question, that's why Broderick's bringing this up. How do
Right.
we go about this?
Yeah, it's just what's the proper protocol to
Yeah.
do such a thing?
So you've accessed the truck.
Correct. We've replaced the truck, and we're gonna take it out of service, surplus, sell it. But they have a need for something that obviously doesn't need the kind of life that we do, because they're doing stuff around.
So you're basically, you're gonna even up swap it.
You could call it that, even if they did, this was in the works, even if they didn't have the lawnmower, you know, this was something that came up later. We had talked about transferring this somehow, by whatever protocol, to them so that they could use it, because I think it would benefit them more than what little money we
Yeah,
get.
you can access it to them, but they, meaning the village and the town, must
Right.
access the lawnmower to you.
Okay.
So then we would do a motion, the village would do a motion, dedicating it over to the...
Right, we do two motions. Us to the joint rec,
For the
the
truck.
village and the town back to us on the
Right,
lawnmower.
right.
Yeah. That's the way it has to be done.
Okay.
Oh, so the joint rec is no entity where they have ownership?
Correct.
in
They
that
don't
thing?
exist
No.
but for the village and the town.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
You know where I'd start with this then, is Mike Nutt,
Yeah.
your counterpart, and say, here's what you'd like to do. If he gets agreement, he'll go to his board, you come to us.
It's relatively simple.
Yeah.
You do it by voice.
Or is this something, or why don't you start there, and then we'll have the two attorneys that work out the details on the,
Well,
on
let's
the...
start, how do we transfer the truck? Forget about the lawnmower.
You would access it at this level and make known as part of the motion that it was being given, if you will, in an exchange to the Joint Recreation Commission.
Okay.
Well, let's just say we're gonna give it to the joint rec.
Right.
Forget about the lawnmower for a second, exchange. We're gonna, is it,
But then the town taxpayers are effectively giving away property twice. While they're giving away their property, but they're also giving it to another tax base, which is the villages. Well, different governmental unit. See, anytime you access anything, in theory, you're supposed to open it up to the public.
correct?
Okay, we are not obviously seeking bids or attempting to sell this, I don't think, correct?
No.
We're trying to do this like
I assume
intergovernmental.
there would be some paperwork that would show what its tentative value was, and also
Right.
list what was potentially wrong with the truck, because there will have to be some...
Right, and why you're giving that to another entity though, even a municipality, is because, you know, there'll be value returned to you, the lawnmower,
Okay.
okay?
I do know that when I was in Joint Recreation Commission, a truck from the town of Goshen was given to the Joint Recreation.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, well, I don't doubt
And
it.
I don't know what the procedure was, but it was there, and
Well, it was refurbished, is that the one that was refurbished by Bosse's? It was,
It was
an
I-
excess truck, Bosse's refurbished it, they took it in the joint recreation.
Yeah, no,
It's like
you can do that.
Yeah, right, that was,
but the question
Okay.
was, I guess, bringing the lawnmower back.
yeah.
Correct.
We've never done that before.
Yeah, that's why I would recommend you do it as an exchange, and that
Right.
is,
Yeah, okay.
then nobody can criticize it.
Okay, tell us how.
So why don't you,
Yeah.
if you're working out with Nunsley, said that
Right.
we'd like
Yeah,
to
just
do,
get the-
he talks to his
Yeah.
board,
Right.
informs them of it, we know about it, and then we'll let the two attorneys come up with the proper paperwork.
The piece of paper, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, believe me, it's not as complicated as it sounds.
Okay.
That's where you should start.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. You might want to stay for this next part, because I'm going to talk about the capital budget for water and sewer, some other things. Well, you don't have to sit there, you can sit back there where it's safer. Okay.
No, we'll do it for less spots.
The next one is, I'd like to review a draft proposal for water and sewer districts 2013 capital budget and potential rate changes. And I want to do this between, tonight, so that I don't do something that you don't want me to do on Thursday night. So what I've got here on the first page, the cover page, is the fund balances for our special districts as of December. That should be 31st, 2012. You can see that in Hamiltonian Park Sewer, Last year, we were in the red, $60,000. And we're in the positive, in the black this year, $43,600. Arcadia Hills was 87.8 last year in the black, and this year they're 190.5 in the black. Hamiltonian Park water was 35.9 last year, and this year is 33.3. Arcadia Hills was 60, and water was 60,000 last year, now it's 101. Stonehenge last year was a minus 6.7, and now it's 16.6. And Scotchtown last year was 27, and now it's 47.5. Now the first thing I'd like to say is, this is the first time in 8 years since I've been here, and I guess we could go back prior to that, that all districts are in the black. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to share that on Thursday night. But between our cost reduction and working on the infrastructure to bring down the amount of water we're sending to the village, and with the rate increases that we've had in the past, you put it all together, and we're now in the black. Okay? So, based on that, what I tried to do was, because we've been investing in the infrastructure, we want to continue doing it because it pays off big dividends, as we can see in that cover sheet. On Hamiltonian Park Sewer, I want to spend another $35,000 for manhole rehabilitation. And then Broderick says the installation of this new backup generator, by the time we hook it up to the natural gas and do everything else, it's going to be $35,000. Arcadia Hills Sewer, but then so if you go back to the Hamiltonian Park, we're going to spend $70,000. You see, they only have 43.6. Well, we still have 2 more quarters to come on to this, because we're at the current quarter, and we don't start billing, and we have the first and second quarters of this year. We have through the end of April, because on May 1st, the new bill goes out. It'll be paid in August with these new rates. So we have so really what I'm saying is, basically in these fund balances, you had about a half a year, and you got another half a year to go. So I asked Bill to check all this math out and make sure that we don't shortchange ourselves. Okay. So anyway, and he said, yep, we're fine on Hamiltonian Park Sewer. On Arcadia Hills Sewer, we're talking about spending $120,000. Okay. Manhole rehab, $30,000. Installation of lift station pumps, $50,000. It's going to be more expensive than it was in Hamiltonian Park because of the configuration of the collection facility. And to install a new backup generator, we're putting a little bit more money than we did in Hamiltonian Park because we've got to raise it high so that it won't be involved in floodwaters. But here again, if you look at, we're spending $120, and they're $190,000 already to the good. Okay? That should put them in good stead. Now, we limited the $30,000 in the sewer manhole rehab just to get started, because we're not sure what we're going to spend, but that's just the beginning on that one. We may find that we can, if we have the ability to spend more money than that, then we will. Okay. Hamiltonian Park, there's no capital project there. Arcadia Hills Water, no project. Stonehenge, we're going to complete installation of these new meters. They'll be bought and paid for. In Scotchtown Water District, we need to qualify their backup well. Everything's bought and paid for, completely rebuilt, but we need to spend $10,000 more to make sure that the backup well is qualified per the standards set by the Department of Health in the county. Now let's go through the rates. The proposed rate increases, and we'll start with Hamiltonian Park Water. One of the things is as we've been paying down this water line principal, there'll be less interest to pay because it's a smaller bill each year, okay? And so I'm proposing that we just go down 0.5% on their rates, okay? It's going to be very minimal in regard to any reduction for them, but we're starting in that direction. Hamiltonian Park Sewer, on the other hand, however, the inflow remediation that we're doing, okay, it's the difference between what it cost us of $81,000. Wait a minute, Brandon, wait a minute. Okay, it's the difference between $122,000 and, no, that's not true. Bill, help me out on this one.
Which line you want, the inflow?
I'm looking at the $49.08 per quarter. How did you come up with that figure?
That's based on the per household. That's on the inflow cost reduction from last year, this year. Last year, we were at, I don't know, $120,000 assessment for the inflows based on the actual meters.
Yes.
This last year, 2012, we had less inflows, probably because we didn't have as much rain or snow, but also because some of the manholes had been fixed, that sort of thing. So that brings it down. We don't want to keep rating them up at $122,000 when the inflows are only costing $81,000.
Well, I'm just looking for two numbers here that I can subtract one from the other and come
You
up
really
with that.
can. It goes based on per household at the two.
Then I'll talk to it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the inflow remediation, we're talking $35,000, not $37,000. Is what we put in here for this year.
31, 35.
On the capital sheet.
This reflects 37, and the dialogue sheet reflects 35, so it's up to you to adjust each of them.
No, let's go with 35.
All right, so I'll change this one.
So anyway, the people in Hamiltonian Park are going to see with this. Now, you'll notice we're not changing the rates. We're changing the standard. It's the cost of $49.08 per quarter, because everybody realizes that, because that's where the improvement is. So whether you use a little water or a lot of water, everybody's going to realize that savings. And that's, if you'll recall, 2 years ago when we broke out I&I cost is a line item by itself. This is why. So this is where the savings is. So the rates will remain the same. They'll get a $49.08 per quarter savings for an average of 11.9% for the year. Okay.
So roughly almost $200 a year.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
everybody's bill drops $200 a year.
Yes.
Approximately.
Yes.
Sounds better.
Should. Yeah. Much better.
Well, we're doing it by the quarter, because that's the way we've always done it.
Right.
Okay? But that's sure. 4 quarters.
Good selling point.
Right, okay. Now, and on Thursday night, I'll show where the savings for Hamiltonian Park on I&I was $39,000. You don't have benefit of that here tonight, because I fear, I'm just going through the capital budget.
Right.
Okay.
Doug, would you have that information?
Yeah.
No, because we saw it already.
No, that's going to be part of the package. I'm just going to I'm limiting tonight to the rates and the capital budget to show you an idea of what we'll be discussing on Thursday night. All the fill-in, the backup information will be on Thursday night to sell it to the people, but it shouldn't be much of a sell, because it's all good news for them. Okay, Arcadia Hills Water. Here we're giving them a rate change of, on average, of 10.11%, which is about $12.19 per quarter. And the reason being is that they've got $101,000 in their fund balance, and it's up from $60,000 a year ago. So we think that's appropriate. Arcadia Hills Sewer. Their fund balance here is $190,458, up from $87,773 last year. Here again, we're giving the decrease in the inflow costs. And so it'll be $32 per quarter, or 10.03%. Stonehenge Water, they have a positive fund balance, up from a negative fund balance last year. It's still not real strong. We're leaving the rates alone, but we're going to eliminate the meter purchase assessment, which was for 12 months of $25 per quarter. Or maybe it was 2 years. What, is it 1 or 2 years, Bill? 2 years. So anyway, that's going to decrease, so they're going to save $25 per quarter on the meter purchase, which is in fact 10%. Scotchtown, their fund balance has increased as well. Everything is bought and paid for, except for this $10,000 remaining to be spent to qualify the backup well. We're talking here of a rate decrease of 10.24%, or it's going to be $17.85 per quarter. So, in essence, it's a balancing act between capital expenditures, which is improvement of the infrastructure, the starting fund balances, projecting those fund balances to go out 2 more quarters, and then hoping that we will in fact repeat at least what we did last year, if not more. And I think we've got a bet on the come. For example, Broderick told me that the 3 or 4 manholes that they fixed in Hamiltonian Park, I think it was 3. 4. Okay, 4. Were actually done early this year. They didn't get done in 2012. Okay? They were done early this year. At 35 gallons per minute, through all the minutes of 100 days, and I'm saying 100 days out of the 365, where you have a high water table. That's 5 million gallons of I&I. And that's not reflected so much in these numbers. These numbers are predicated based on 2012 performance. The same thing with Arcadia Hills. So I think there's a degree of safety in here that this is going to work out just fine. If we believe what we're spending money on is worthwhile spending the money on it. But I do, I asked, and I got it today after work tonight, the January, February, March pumpings to the village. They're up 30.4% in January, February, March of this year compared to last year in Hamiltonian Park. And they're up 49.4% in Hickok. The first one's Arcadia Hill. The second one is Hamiltonian Park. It's up 49.4%. Now, theoretically, the village is going up at the same rate, if not higher. I don't have their numbers. I just have our numbers. And these are the meter readings that we take before we exit that and deliver that water and sewage to the village. And just as information. So I look at that, it's meaningless without looking at the village portion. But you'll notice on Thursday night when I talked to you that the village, we had a great decrease in flow for 2012. So did the village. But our decrease was larger proportionally than the villages. And in the I don't remember. I don't want to. I'll go through that Thursday night, but I know it's 0.44 percentage points for Arcadia Hills less delivered, and I just don't remember the percentage for Hamiltonian Park. But it was sizable. But anyway, so these are the numbers I'm going to talk to on Thursday night, along with all the fill of everything else we're going to do and what we've done and where we've been for the last few years. And, you know, like the IMA itself. The IMA by itself, we got a 24% reduction in debt payment. And we didn't pay anything to remove the dirt pile on top of that. And then we had less administrative charges. And then we didn't pay 10% of the penalty on the interest. And I guess interest and principal. So there's a tremendous savings with the IMA by itself. Okay, so these are the things that we've done, and then I added up all the cost reductions from this year, it's 140 or 2,000 or something. We've been doing a lot of things that will be, I think, impressing to the people. This is how we're allowed to bring everybody's rates down, as a consequence of the things that have been done over many years. Okay.
The other point too, Doug,
Yeah.
when you look at some of these numbers here, you don't see the rates going down as much. You do see the quarterly improvement. But to take the other side of it, look at all the money we're spending for improvements that came from what we saved. So it's not just changing the rate, it's allowing us, like the $110,000 investment in Arcadia. That wouldn't be there if we didn't do all the other things.
Well, exactly right.
Well, that's what I'm trying to point out. It's
Sure.
a double. It's a savings on the rate, and that might not be as big as the savings or the money we're collecting to do more things to make the rates even better.
Sure.
So you have to spell that. That $110,000 came someplace.
Well, the fact is that accumulation of all these things we've been doing is freeing up money to reinvest in the infrastructure. I mean, that
Because if not,
page of capital improvements is significant.
if you look in the past, if not, these will be added bills that they would have to pay for.
We'd have to increase the rates in order to pay for it.
Well, we'll all have an opportunity on Thursday to try to impress the public that's where it's at.
I'm just
Yeah.
Could I make one suggestion?
Sure.
On each sheet, it has proposed rate increase. Since there is
Right.
no increase, can we put proposed rate adjustment?
Yes.
Why put an
Because there's
increase
no
on every
increase.
page when there's no increase?
Yes.
It's funny, I was telling Doug at the gym today, a couple of people from Arcadia, you raising my rate, I told you your rate is going down.
Well, I think that might have
I guess you
been,
misread it, but no, it's a good point.
No, I think that might
Answer the
have,
question.
I think that might have been by the notice that went out to talk about proposed rate changes, not increases or decreases, proposed rate.
But they all put it as.
Sure. So what are you proposing again? Let's take Stone. What are you saying?
No, I said on the top of each page, proposed rate adjustment, or if you really want
Sure.
to propose rate decrease.
Oh, that shouldn't be, I'm sorry, that was, oh, you know what? Thank you, because I didn't see that in word increase.
No, that was a good, yes.
I think proposed rate changes. Well, adjustment's probably a better word. It's a better word.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah,
Good find, George.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. So anyway, it's going to be a good story on Thursday. Three things that are going to come out of it. Number one is, we're for the first time in the black in 8 years that I've been here. Number two is that we're really pouring a lot of money back into infrastructure. And at the same time, we're not increasing rates to pay for it. And you can't get much better than that. And the fact is, what we're doing now, putting money back in the infrastructure, is certainly going to add to the next year's ability to do it again.
Exactly right. Well, you take the example of just Hamiltonian Park's sewer pumps, which we were paying just in excess of $10,000 a year in repairing the existing ones that were from the late 50s, early 60s, and that cost us in an approximate range between $35,000 and $40,000. It's got a nice return on investment for.
Well, we put down, I don't have that sheet, it's here Thursday. Bill and I looked, it's about $1,275 a year with one break. That's what we've been averaging. So that's what we put in there.
You know, I mean...
But it's over $140,000 of cost reduction annually that we started in this past year as a consequence of the IMA, energy conservation, pump repairs. Anthony Laspinero left and we didn't pay for his benefits, and the list goes on and on. So there's a lot of things that we're doing and doing well and have been doing well.
Water main breaks along, we say $77,000 a year. That's what we're paying in repairs.
I didn't put that one in because that was back, but 1 year to the next we
But you know, the point to make is, after all of these improvements, we have finally gotten these developments into the black.
Yeah.
Because we inherited them in tremendously red shape, bad shape.
That's part
And
of
we
the,
haven't worked on, what I'm saying is.
that'll be
it-
told on Thursday.
Yeah, because if you say, well, we're in the black, it's like, where have you guys been for 8 years? Why haven't we been in the black? Well,
One of the things, and may I should have brought the whole thing, because this is kind of naked without all those other pages, but the fact is, Dr. Hudson of the Orange County Health Department called me, said, Mr. Bloomfield, I want to see you now. Not tomorrow, now. I said, okay. So I went over and she started chewing my butt that I allowed Scotchtown to get to the point where it was a boil water notice put on every door. I said, well, they're not mine, that belongs to the private water supply company. Then she turned to her people, what do we mean, town's not responsible for that? No, that's the, whatever the guy's name was. Swanson.
Yeah.
She says, I'm so sorry. I said, but now, let me beg to you, would you please take it over? And I said, well, I'll talk to the board about it, and we did take it over. Now, try this one on. Stan Tech came in here and said it was going to be $450,000 to redo it. Bill went through the numbers for me. I wasn't quite sure what it was. At once I thought it was 120, and then 150. The number of dollars we spent to redo everything was $118,000, or 26-point-some-odd% of what the initial estimate was.
Yep.
And we did that because of the recession, and by buying the tank ourselves versus having some guy buy it and price it up another, whatever all these things are. So we had that. Kenny was alluding to the water line in Section A. We had 10 breaks in 1 year. $77,000 alone just to repair the brakes. Okay. We put a new one in, we haven't had a problem since. We replaced the pumps last year, and that eliminates $1,275 a year on average for the last X number of years.
No, it was about $10,000 a year that we...
Well, maybe we need to look at that number again, because of his 10 grand.
Just Ham Park.
He was talking, yeah.
I think you're talking about break among the...
Not break.
No, we're talking about that pump in Ham Park.
Very place, the more
Okay.
efficient pump.
Well, may I'm mistaken, may have got it off by a decimal point. May instead of being 10,000,
It was
12,000 or something.
Yeah,
Well, we'll look at that.
different issue.
No, same issue. That's a good issue. I want to make sure we represent it properly.
Yeah.
So we had that. We had the IMA. And I was sharing with Kenny, this board has spent more hours talking, preparing for that IMA, and the arbitration, going into that, and all of us, to include Dennis, who led us through the arbitration. I know I spent 80 hours of my time, in my lifetime, preparing for the arbitration. 2 full weeks before I went into the barrel for 2 days with the lawyers. One day in, and then 1 day of cross-examination. And we prevailed, and we got everything we wanted. So this has come out of our hide. What else is going? So the list goes on and on and on. The other things that I'm going to talk about on Thursday night is negotiating with New York Farms, LLC, for all those additional homes and all the money that Hamiltonian Park's going to get. The fact that we're putting in generators, which is going to please the DEC, because we've been naked without those. We had one that wouldn't work, and then the other one didn't have one. I mean, you look at all these improvements that people expected us to do, but these don't happen without a lot of effort and a lot of worry. I know when I first got in office that I've been spending probably 60 or 70% of my time on water and sewer stuff, and 30% on the town, because we were in arrears big time from day one. So the board here, I think we set the right direction. We stood fast with it, and this is I really believe that we're going to see some rate decreases this year, and they'll continue for the years to come, till we get down to a point where we ought to have been years ago before this I&I problem came down, or whatever that's worth. Okay, so on Thursday night, I'd like you all to chip in, too. I mean, this is a board situation. I'll go through the numbers, go through the presentation, but if you can reinforce a point then please do it. Okay. The next item is, you can see this letter I got dated March 29th from the Orange County Partnership, Office of Economic Development. And they're talking about on May 9th of having a commercial real estate summit. And at this summit, it's going to be held over in Newburgh, and a fellow named Mike Mullis of J.M. Mullis, Inc., he's a professional project location specialist. He's the fellow who has filled up most of Orange County, New York, and he's done a lot for us. Problem is, it's been over in Newburgh and Blooming Grove and Montgomery. It has not been in Goshen. They're going to showcase a lot of properties, one of which is going to be the Tetz property, and talk in general about Goshen. Okay. They've asked us to table a table sponsorship of $500. Okay. At first I thought, well, that's not appropriate because it's $500, which the Tetzes of the world are going to gain from, but really not so. It is this last one, this Whole Foods company was going to create all those jobs in Goshen had it come. So I think the $500, I see it, this is a token amount of money to get our foot in the door and hear what this guy's got to say. He also says that he wants to talk with Neil Halloran and myself after the meeting, because he was impressed with what we had to say opposite the Tetz property a month ago. So he likes that Tetz property for one reason or another, and I think he'd like to fill it up. So anyway, that being the case, I thought I'd best bring this to the board and get your input on this, from how we ought to respond to this request.
I think it's an excellent idea. If we were able to get a rateable of that size or even smaller, I think you've had some dialogue with this gentleman already.
I did.
And as you had said, he really likes the Tetz property and maybe some other parcels in and around town. And if we were able to get more interest in the property, it would be better for the taxpayers.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a problem funding an organization that has a budget and is funded by the county that is responsible for doing things like this. I don't want to start a precedent even for $25 of starting to contribute to market something that's private investment. I don't see, I really have a problem with this, spending taxpayer money to market something that's totally private. And once again, they have their own budget. If all these realtors are going to come, they should assess the realtors to have this expose or whatever, because all the realtors are the ones that are going to come through and benefit by these. So, I mean, I have a real problem signing this voucher.
Well,
And it won't.
They've
Yeah.
invited two of us, actually three of us.
Okay.
The chair of the planning board,
Yeah, I saw that
myself,
letter.
and Neil.
Well, if everybody else is paying $125 per ticket, or $130, or $150, or maybe even more for three,
Yeah, I don't
then
know.
that would be something
Yeah.
to attend. But
Yeah.
for another county agency to ask us to contribute to that agency for whatever,
Yeah, no.
I think the idea is great, but
Yeah, that's like, just like conferences, sending Neil upstate or whatever, those make a lot of sense, but when you start contributing the advertising aspect to, like you say, quasi-private,
Now, let's go back to the funding of the Orange County Partnership. Are they funded by Orange County government?
Yes.
I'm sure they have a budget.
Yeah, they have a
If
budget.
they
Yeah.
could put it in the budget, I mean,
Yeah, that's why we don't know any other particulars, you know, what it is charged, or, I'm just curious, yeah.
The one sponsoring the table sounds like we're gonna pay for the table so other people
Yeah.
could attend.
Yeah.
And even if it meant you took 10 of your own people, it's just a poor choice of words. I don't know why they did it that way, to be honest with you. You know, it's gonna cause a lot of municipalities problems.
If the taxpayers are paying the county for things like that, we're already paying.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not improper, but you certainly be subject
I
to
mean,
criticism.
what they say is this is the first of its kind
Yeah.
event in Orange County where more than 100 commercial realtors and developers will benefit from a market forecast panel discussion. I mean,
I know.
as a municipality, I just have a problem
Yeah.
spending the taxpayer money on anything.
I would rather see you, again, authorize your planning board to go and buy.
That would be fine,
Yeah, exactly.
but
Well, I don't know what the cost of the tickets
Yeah,
are.
myself, I'm, you
That was
know.
David. Now, Kenny, you got it?
I have a big problem with Orange County Partnership per se.
I do too. Yeah, I didn't get into that.
I didn't get into that, James.
I don't want to get into it, but I mean, I'm
Yeah.
telling you the truth, but yeah, I have a problem with per se, and I agree with Phil. We're gonna sponsor table with real estate people, they're the ones who are gonna benefit, because they're gonna sell these pieces of properties, broker these properties, and where does that leave us? And if that fellow is interested in the tenth property, he's gonna be interested whether we go, whether we sponsor a table or not. That's my thought.
I suspect that they got speaker fees involved too. Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
Probably so, he's in private enterprise.
I suspect there's speaker, that's where the money's going to, speaker fees, subsidization of the cost of the rent, the food.
Well, the partnership has a budget, they all get
That's
paid
right.
to stimulate commercial
They
that's what they get paid to
They get paid
do.
handsomely, yes.
Then they get paid handsomely, and
Well, I don't know about the handsome one.
oh, I think.
You do? Okay. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
The only,
I was against the shovel-ready thing.
I'd say something, but I don't want to be quoted in the newspaper.
No.
Well, I think that
What if you guys pay it?
I'm in a different place, I guess, in the board on this
Yeah.
one.
Well, you're looking at it differently.
Right.
You work hand in hand with them.
No, I'm with George.
Yeah.
It's not just, the taxable ratable's one thing, it is the jobs. Now, this last one went to Montgomery because they were further along than we are.
Yep.
That's the only reason why it went, so I've been told, okay? One of the major reasons. Those
That's
jobs...
not we, it's the property owner.
Listen, let me finish, Doug, let me finish.
Okay.
Now, that facility, had we been working with the Orange County Partnership and working with the property owner, had we got this thing, the jobs that they had that started 42,000 up to 75,000 would have materialized, because the pilot's going to take care of the tax base. You know, that's what's going to happen to get them in. I'm just looking at it strictly from jobs. And those jobs are going to end up over in Montgomery. Now, maybe they'll come over here and some of our people can put in for those jobs. It's not that far away. I don't know, I'm looking at selling Goshen for jobs, which brings revenue here. And I mean, for $500, I don't want to shoot myself right in the foot because I have some problems or I have questions. I look at this as minuscule money based on what we potentially can bring back to our community. And I'll leave it there, because I don't know the answers to the questions about what it would cost per person or...
Just increase the comment. Number one, this is the Orange County Partnership, so they benefit no matter where it goes in Orange County. It has nothing to do with Goshen. Number two, the people that had their property ready were the private people. It's not the municipality's responsibility to make the property ready. And I'm sure in Montgomery, the owners of that property were ready. Well, Tetz has been in here for a couple of years, and I'm not a part of the Tetz organization. I work for the town of Goshen. And I'm not going to do that with taxpayer money. I mean, I understand that, you know, but I'm not going to start donating to another agency because I don't think it's proper. I don't think we can. I really don't.
Well, I don't think I had the votes for it.
Well, never mind the votes.
No, I'm just saying, because I disagree with your position.
It's a close
Can we do
question.
it legally?
It's a close question. I suspect because they're a governmental agency, quasi, even at the county level, you probably can. It's not in a regular area.
Right.
I still think, though, the way they presented the sponsor aspect is terribly cool.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I can talk to that with them.
right.
But I think that, I disagree with the, they're not ready, so therefore, it's almost retaliatory, it is sitting right back up, when we should be looking to bringing in jobs, and we are working with Mr. Tetz. We need to work more with Mr. Tetz to get him to get that property up and running on time.
To Phil's point, and I don't mean to speak for Phil,
Right.
because I was involved in a lot of those negotiations too, and Ted did not help himself.
I understand that.
Okay, he wanted us to
I
wait.
understand.
Those
Right.
knobs to
Yeah,
turn.
okay.
No, I understand that.
I mean, first
But
one,
we called him this last time, and he came in. See, there's a lot of dialogue I guess you all don't know, but we had to get those trees cut down by the end of March. And we said, Mr. Tetz, either you get them down, or you have to wait a whole nother year because of the Indiana bat. And he came in. Now, I don't think he got the trees down, because he only had 4 days to do it or whatever. What I'm saying is that I think that we need to figure out how we're going to work with this thing for creating more jobs in Goshen. Otherwise, we can say, well, we're right, but we're going to be, I think, dead right.
I think we can only do what a municipality can do. We can work with the planning board, we can work with the planners, we can give him all the time he needs, but I don't think that we can contribute on a private basis, or to any private,
Okay.
I'm only one guy.
Well, and I don't think I have enough guys to make it go, so, good discussion.
Well, do you want to call for a
But you
vote?
can certainly pursue the discussion with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do that in private, let me say, listen, our board right now says no.
But
And
that requires an explanation.
I'm going to
Yeah.
explain to them, because the way you put this in here, there's no cost of tickets, this, that, et cetera, et cetera. I'll take care of that.
Because I can
But
see,
I do believe, and I'd like the board to really think through this and soul search on this. Because it is, you've got a saying for this, Phil, it's not right, but dead right, but there's another one, we don't...
Were you right or were you wise?
Yes.
I think I'm being wise.
Okay, well, I'm sure you do. Okay, very
I
good.
just don't want to start a precedent.
agreed, but I think all five of you should really want to go, if your schedules permit, to something like this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we can deal with that one.
Yeah.
But I'm sharing with you, in this environment, all of us here on this board, in this environment, jobs are of primary importance.
How you doing?
And we can be splitting or this or that or whatever it is, and let, all of a sudden the jobs are in Montgomery, or they're Blooming Grove, or they're somewhere else, because we're not pressuring somebody to be shovel-ready maybe, or whatever.
We can do that.
And that's what I think we need
We
to
can
do.
do it.
That's what this is what JEDI is trying to do, in fact, because we're working with the...
Hey, Doug, do we have other properties or other areas of Goshen to publicize? Because I don't think it should be, I hate when we just use one name.
The answer is we are out of basically commercial and industrial spots of this size. We have...
Well, a bunch of little ones are good too.
Well, we're doing all those. In fact, I mean, you talked to Neil, that's what part of my presentation with the chamber breakfast was. Look at the number of ones, the substation, the bus garage, with all these other, they're coming here without the Orange County Partnership. They're coming because they want to be in Goshen, and they're working with the planning board to do so.
Right.
But the big properties, the 200 or 300 acre properties, we just have one, really. And for whatever that's worth. Okay.
Can we, as an option, basically say, we're not interested in $500 for what, we may be interested in buying tickets?
If they're
Or
selling,
for members of our planning board, this
are they
board.
selling tickets?
Well, no, that's what I'm sharing with.
Oh, okay, fine.
No, I'm gonna talk to them and say, well, listen, what is it you're trying to do here? If it's $100 a ticket, we'll have 5 people there,
You know, that's everything about the...
but,
Well, everybody else better pay $500.
I suspect it's not.
Not gonna.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I
I
don't
suspect
think
it's
so.
very reasonable, and I shouldn't say, I'm speculating.
Yeah, okay.
But having been involved in these things, it's probably a subsidization of the overall cost, including
I think
speaker
so.
fees. Yeah.
I think so.
Like the hospitality room down there.
So-
Well, that's the next thing, and I want to
got
compare it to
brokers, so
the
the brokers
Association
can
of
count for $10
Towns.
a head,
We
that's
don't
fine,
go, you know, I mean, we don't see that type of value in it,
Yeah.
and we don't spend the money.
Okay, Very good. Okay, the next one is, discuss and authorize the supervisor to sign a 2-year contract with Capital Self-Storage for off-site record storage. Neil and I went out and talked to these folks, and this is pursuant of the fact we've got an unsafe condition, doesn't meet the safety and fire standards in the building, where we have records in the computer room, et cetera, with heat buildup, and the combustibles are really, in many cases, upstairs. Courts, the 2 other places exceed what they should be. So, we went out and looked at a 10 by 15 climate-controlled storage space at this Capital Self-Storage on Cannon Hill Drive, and the normal cost is $179 per month. So we started beating up on them and said, hey, you know, if we sign a contract, what can we get? And they dropped to $149 per month for 1 year, $140 for 2 years, $135 for 5 years. I picked out just 2-year contract, number one, to see if we like it. It's totally enclosed, so when you go to this building, you've got to open a door to go inside, and you only have access from inside versus on the outside for security reasons. Neil liked what he saw. I've asked him, by the way, to coordinate all this with all the departments in the building.
It's climate control, too.
Yeah.
It's climate controlled, air-conditioned air.
Yeah.
And the heating is from, I think, 55 degrees to 78 degrees or something. There's a variance there, but for records, it wouldn't be too much.
Is that big enough, Doug?
Oh, yeah, we looked at it, and 10 by 15 is,
150 square feet?
yeah, he thinks that'd be just about what we need to really straighten it with a building code.
Great. Okay.
So anyway, I'm saying, yep, it's yours, Kenny.
Oh, I was off anyway.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I'm talking about a 2-year contract just to see if this thing floats.
Yeah.
I like it, too.
Yeah, me too.
Now,
Yeah, because we take 5 years,
Lou,
you say $300.
Right.
No, it's to go into a long-term with technology and everything that changes, it's better just to do 2 years.
Yeah.
now, Lou did bring up a question. He said, well, what about other storage areas? Because there is one up on Scotchtown. You go all the way out Scotchtown Avenue, up there somewhere. We didn't, Neil said he's been there before, and the rates are this or higher, so. But this one is in Goshen.
In Goshen.
And it's-
Right.
You have to run out in Goshen.
Yeah, well, the other one on the other side, you're talking about the one on the other side of Maple?
Yeah.
No, just,
No, it's
it actually
before you
is,
get,
yes, it's on the other side of 84 before, 302.
Yeah.
Or no, 211, 211.
It's on the right hand.
211.
It's in Walkdale, but it is beyond 84.
They don't sound like my own.
They don't what?
They don't have climate control.
I couldn't tell you.
I had a place there,
Oh, okay.
so I didn't see any.
keep your hand on the rest of the night. Keep your hand on there, that's okay.
I don't think it's mine.
You need a motion?
Yeah.
Need a mic.
Okay,
I'll make the motion that we sign the 2-year contract.
okay. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So Neil, let me see you in the morning, we'll try to check you out with this.
Good.
Okay.
Just in time.
Good. So that completes the meeting. I would like to open the floor, though. Thursday night's going to be on something else. Anybody else got anything they'd like to talk about? Neil?
I would just like the opportunity to speak to the board in executive session about possible, about litigation.
Sounds good to me. Okay. All right.
You have, I didn't hear what kind of litigation.
I'm not sure,
Subject?
yeah.
Yeah.
Subject,
Housing.
environmental
Environmental, okay.
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 or enforcement.
That's close enough.
Speak to an assessor's officer, second.
Yeah, please do.
I spoke to our new assessor, Tony Solomon, today, just to see how things are going. He's working on trying to get every one of the parcels that has been improved to be at the maximum accessible rate by the May 1st date. And then the other 2 gentlemen that were in there today, there's actually 4 people, Francine in there, working today, we're working on the adjustments, the American the adjustments to the assessment. Work with, I'm not thinking of it right now. Ag exemptions.
Oh, the exemption.
Oh, ag exemption.
What's Mr. Silver's first name? Arnie?
Arnold Silver.
Yeah, there were 4 people there on Friday, so they're working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had contact with him too. Yeah, I'm very impressed so far.
Yeah.
So
Me
far,
too.
it's really working out very well.
Yeah.
Good.
He seems to be very knowledgeable. I had a long conversation with
Yeah.
him. I like him.
Yeah, I do too. You know, I'll find out very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm paid by the county, so.
I know.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion, we go in we adjourn the meeting, go into executive session to talk about environmental and litigation, and then police department personnel case update, and also a police department litigation update.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Bill, thank you for coming. Robert, thank you for coming.
Neil, thank you for coming. For a minute.
Where's Joe?
And Neil and Jerry, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. That rental, it's $145 a month. She gave 3 prices for 3 years.
145.
No, it's 140.
140 a month.
Right.
1680 for 2 years.
Right, 2-year contract. You want a copy of this?
No, I don't think so. I wrote it.
You would show Mark.
Okay, you know.
Oh, I don't know, okay, no comment, okay. I would expect that.
If I see him before you do, I'll let him know you're asking for him.
one.